Good morning. Welcome to Arbery Digital Experiences. Update from the forest. I'm Tad Reeves, Principal Architect at Arbery Digital. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is legacy website migrations. And for the fitting metaphor of the day, we're here in the Durham Coal Mine, which has now been converted to a mountain bike park. Boy. In the opening century of the Industrial Revolution, just about the entirety of the world's industrial output, as well as all freight transportation everywhere, happened because of the power of coal. But since then, at this point in time, when was the last time that you rode in a coal-powered conveyance? Unless you've been to see, Thomas the Tank Engine at your nearby train park, probably have never ridden in anything powered by coal. But there's still some coal out in the world. Still, you've got a bunch of power being generated by coal, so it's still out there. So let's fold that back to legacy websites. So you've got any big enterprise website. You've maybe you purchased AEM as a cloud service, or AEM with the hope that it was going to run every single piece of your CMS all under one hood. All under one roof. Because you've got a system with immensely powerful features for multi-site management, for translation, for page rollouts. Everything should theoretically then be able to be under AEM. However, most every... Sorry, this is too entertaining. Most every company that we've come into contact with ends up running into problems on that when it comes to complexity. Because the problem with an immensely powerful system is that it a lot of times can get immensely complicated. You migrate your primary site and then find that the labor that it requires to pull every single other site underneath that same platform, that juice sometimes isn't worth the squeeze. And so you end up with a lot of websites that are sitting out on some other platform. You're on WordPress or multiple different platforms, or maybe an old legacy AEM that's still sitting around, which we've seen that obviously. So then what do you do with that? If you want to get everything migrated to the cloud, you want to be able to have enough time to spend on all the new tasks that are out there, because previously just having a really great website experience might be enough. Your on-site search, getting that all right, but now you've got AI chatbots to worry about, your generative engine optimization to worry about, commerce to worry about. Yeah, punch it. Just kick butt on this, bud. Just roll. Oh yeah. So the problem is that with all that, your web development team can get stretched pretty thin. And having enough time to be able to go and pull everything underneath that CMS. By the time you've gotten everything migrated to that CMS is out of date and you're ready to move to something else. And we've seen this constantly with on-premise AEM deployments. And so what do? What's the way out? Well, the new player that has entered the scene, which has really changed a lot of this, is Adobe's Edge Delivery Services. As I've talked about before, we've recently launched our first customer website running document authoring. It was actually the world's first deployment of document authoring with Edge Delivery Services. And it's really changed the world in terms of how long does it take to do a migration and how much labor does it take to keep those websites up? How many developers do you need to keep on staff for one given website property? It's gotten to the point where, because when you talk about not just the act of getting a website over to a property, but maintaining it, keeping it fast. You see this all the time too with a website that you ended up getting on AEM. It's got powerful features. It's localizable. But then you say, good, well, how fast is that website? Well, oh, it's got a 30 lighthouse score or something like that, 30 out of 100. Well, how much labor is it going to take to get that up into the 90s? Okay, it's going to take a lot. And then you say, good, I'm just not going to do that, which ends up with a bunch of your users having a poor web experience. You got something like edge delivery. You take something where it was previously maybe months, maybe not just months, but like 6 months to get a given website onto AEM. With edge delivery, you could take that down to more like a few weeks to get something on and migrated. And for longer ones, for bigger ones, maybe a few months. Those tools have since been enhanced by Adobe. If you were at Adobe Summit, you might have seen these new AI-driven projects like or what is it called? Experience Catalyst, which uses Gen AI and a lot of Adobe's agentic AI tooling to be able to automate site migration. So once you've got your styling and your idea of how it's going to go, you can leverage those to do a lot of that heavy lifting for you. Which the thing is that ends up leaving you with time for the fun stuff. Here, take a left here, bud. So in terms of where does that fit in to your cloud migration strategy, here's one thing to know. If you're already on AEM as a cloud service, if you've already got an AEM as a cloud service license, you already have a license to be able to start working with edge delivery services. And we would love to be able to help you do a proof of concept to show you how fast it can be to get something out there, because it is genuinely quick. And it's also genuinely easy to be able to keep that site in maintain. The other thing to know is that when you're doing this is something that can be difficult to stomach sometimes for some people, is when deciding whether or not to do a cloud migration. A lot of times you're weighing the cost of sticking your infrastructure out into the cloud, stuff that you possibly are hosting on premise right now, versus what benefits might you have. Sticks. Sometimes that cost benefit analysis is difficult to do. Here, do a left. We're gonna try not to fall off a cliff while we're recording a podcast. No death allowed, okay? No death. So when doing that migration or doing that cost analysis, it can be really tough to justify that cloud migration. However, when you're moving to something like edge delivery and you're taking the labor factor so low in terms of how long does it take to do the migration, how long does it take to redo a UI, maintain a UI, and all that kind of stuff, it suddenly is like you're losing money by not moving out to the cloud. It's just something to think about. And that being said, we're about to get to a cliff, and I'm going to try not to fall off a cliff with my son. Got any questions about that? We're always happy to answer. Thanks for listening. All right, keep it together here, bud.
I've been here for that.
You been this way?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still recording, but keep going.
I think I'm walking my bike.
There you go, 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 go. Climb this. You got this, you got this.
Walk my bike right there.
Yeah. Well, not this time. Not this time, because the world is watching.
Yeah. The world is watching.